surgeon knife to deliver my child. No one has ever given birth through CS in our generation. The husband has to sign before the surgery takes place. Caesarean section is evil and God does not like it. These are statements that had led many women to their untimely death in an attempt to bring beautiful babies to the world and contribute their quota to keep the population of the world sustained. According to World Health Organization, the current maternal ratio, meaning the ratio at which women die in pregnancy during and after childbirth, is put at 814 per 100,000 births. This is not a good figure at all. Sometimes the survival of the woman might be as a result of changing the birth method from vaginal to cesarean section, but it is rather sad that we see all of this around us and we still see people still debunk all of this. Today, our attention is on cesarean section, and we want to use this medium to debunk all the suspicions associated with this birth method. Welcome to Real Talk, where conversations are real. I am Kike Atanda-owo, and of course, I have my sighting co-host here. Hi, Auntie Efo! I keep forgetting myself. Auntie! How you
Kike? I'm good. It's good to see you again. Hello, viewers. Welcome.
Hello, everybody. We're here again. It's a brand new day.
Yes.
Well, of course, in Lagos. Here in Lagos, so we're holding up. We're holding strong. It will get better.
All right. We'll try to keep it real. At least with a lot of things happening around the world. Negative thoughts, negative feedbacks, news and everything. We still try to, at least be excited that we are alive today.
Yes.
Anyways, let's start with on Today in History. We'll be right back.
On this day in history, exactly 15 years ago, April 29, 2006, a car bombing in the Nigerian oil city of Warri destroyed at least 5 tanker trucks. The movement for the emancipation of the Niger Delta, MEND, which demands more local control over the southern delta's oil wealth, said it had used a mobile phone to detonate 30 kg of dynamite in the bombing. The militant group was not brought to book and neither paid for the damages and havoc wreaked on public properties. The federal government adopted amnesty approach to their demands as a means of resolution to the crisis then.
And therefore, on this day in history, what's your submission on it?
I'm looking at the Niger Delta region, and if we look at today in history, I just believe that the people of the Niger Delta basically are just fighting for their rights because their lands have been devastated. The fishing they used to do and all of what comes with their commercial businesses have all been crippled. I do not subscribe to destruction, wanton destruction and whatever, but I think it's time for something it's time for the government to do something meaningful, for those in the Niger Delta region so that frayed nerves can be calmed, basically. So
I know. These 2 people are coming on top of me alone. I know, but what happened in Niger Delta? Yes, history looking back at it, and it's still happening. Permit me to say, my people, the Yoruba people, say kokoro ton jefo. The kokoro that's eating the hair for the vegetable is with the vegetable. The people that is doing them in Niger Delta, they live with them.
Yes.
So if you are saying that the government should provide lasting solution, the solution has been proffered. But you see the agbayas, the people that don't want good thing to happen, they are the ones that are hiding under that solution. And they are the ones perpetrating it. So let's be looking at government too. They are part of everybody. They are part of our families. So, but all die and die last. Permit me to say, everybody, if you do good, 6 feet. If you not do good, 6 feet. Let's be doing it the way we think we can do it. If that is the route that we should follow.
All right, that submission was from Daniel, and I don't know what
sorry.
else to add to that. But before we get into our discussion for today, let's take a message from our sponsors. We'll be right back. To the International Caesarean Section Awareness Month, and this is a yearly event organized by the International Caesarean Awareness Network, a non-profit organization whose mission is to improve maternal child health by reducing the preventable cesarean through education, supporting cesarean recovery, and advocating for vaginal birth after cesarean. There are many misconceptions that surround a woman giving birth by any method other than the vaginal method. So what are these misconceptions? Together with our co-host, with my co-host, we'll find answers to these questions from our guest today. But before then, it's important for us to listen to the guest profile, and we'll be right back. Today, we want to get educated and demystify the birth method called cesarean section. It is nice to have you in the studio, Dr. Shakirat, right?
Yes.
Smith. Okunu. Did I?
Okonu.
My producer corrected you like 100 times. And mother people's day. But I told her you will come and correct us here, Okonu. Welcome on the show today.
Thank you very
and let me say, Ramadan Karim to you.
Hello, Akram. And Ramadan Karim to everybody outside listening.
All right. So one of the misunderstandings in our culture in Nigeria, especially when it comes to cesarean section, only occurs when the mothers are having issues with natural labor. So my question is, most people don't understand the elective part of childbirth. You know, they only understand the emergency C-section. So enlighten our audience who are just listening to and do not understand the nitty-gritty of the C-section.
Okay, thank you very much. So first off, I would like to talk about what a cesarean section is. Okay, so cesarean section is an alternate mode for delivery and basically means that the baby is delivered via an incision on the abdomen and the uterus to bring out the baby. Okay, we know that the natural method is vaginal delivery, but for different reasons, like you already said, we have to use an alternate route to deliver the baby. Now, a CS can either be elective or emergency. Emergency is there's a life-threatening condition, you need to deliver this baby now. Then we also have elective, which is like a scheduled or planned cesarean section, in which right from the antenatal period, you have seen reasons why a woman cannot have a cesarean section, and as a result, cannot have a vaginal delivery, and as a result of that, you plan her for a cesarean section before she falls in labor. Why? Because you want to avoid an emergency cesarean section. So some of the reasons are if, for example, a woman has a fibroid in the lower segment or the cervix, which is the neck of the womb, there is no way the baby can come out. So the alternate is a cesarean section. You cannot say you want to do a trial of labor for such a patient. I feel that's very cruel, since you already know that the baby is not going to come out. You can also have a condition whereby it's called placenta previa, where the placenta is lying in the lower part of the uterus. Okay? It's also blocking the passage. There is no how the baby is going to come out. So in such a case, you plan such a woman for an elective cesarean section. If a baby, for example, has a congenital anomaly such as a big head, hydrocephalus, most cases that baby cannot come out by itself. Then you plan for a cesarean section. So those are some of the reasons why you can have an elective CS. Most people are aware of just emergency CS. You know, you want to save the baby, you want to save the mother, so you quickly do a CS. And like you rightly said, people are not really aware of an elective cesarean section. And because it's an elective cesarean section, you have enough time to tell them, so they also have enough time to refuse, as opposed to an emergency cesarean section. So if a woman is bleeding, she can see the blood. You've told her that you need to do the CS to save the baby. There's a higher chance that she will consent than if you tell her that baby cannot pass through, so we think that you need to do a cesarean section.
It has not gotten to the neck.
Yes.
So she feels that, oh no. And I want to ask you, is there any relationship between religion and cesarean section?
Well, to the best of my knowledge, I am not aware, okay? But it's just the normal people mentality.
Normal people mentality.
Yes,
Okay, good.
you know, if you tell a patient you're going to have a cesarean section, God forbid, you know, she would rather go to church and pray and fast or go to the mountain. I hear patients say they're going to the mountain, but I don't know which mountain they're going to yet. They'll go there for days, okay? Go there for days, say they are fasting, and then come back with complication. So it's just everybody everybody feels that they should be like the Igbo women. So it was during when I was told I had this topic, and then I started reading that. I saw, okay, fine, so this is what my patients talk about, the Igbo women.
Yes,
you know,
biblical story.
you know, but it's sad because they are not looking at it in the context at which it was talked about, you know. So they just feel that I need to be in labor for days. I don't even need a midwife. I don't need a doctor. I would be able to have a vaginal delivery provided I believe. You know, most people, they feel that if they say that they are not going to do a vaginal, or they can't have a vaginal delivery, even though you tell them it's not possible, their faith. They believe, no, my God, my God will do it for me. That's what they say.
Things are possible with
Yes,
God.
exactly. Yeah. You know, and I feel that's just being ignorant. But
What about the fear of getting under the knife?
well, I'm sure if each and every one of us here were told that we have a surgery, we will be scared. I would go and pray. That would be one of my prayer points, you know. But I would not refuse. And that's where education comes in. If you are learned, you are educated, and you understand. Work can be very tedious, okay? And most times, doctors do not have enough time to explain to their patients. So if you just say, Madam, you're going to have a CS, she's not going to come back to you. She's going to go to somewhere where they will tell her that she can have. Yes, exactly. You know. So if I'm told I have a surgery, or I would have a surgery, I would be scared, which is normal.
Okay.
But I'll pray about it, okay? And I'll pray that mine will be different from those that had an adverse outcome.
Okay.
At least when I was coming here today, I had faith that I would get to my destination. There are people that woke up today and did not get to their destination. But that didn't mean that I wouldn't come out, because I'm scared that there could be a car accident, that I could be robbed on the way. You know. So if you're told that you're going to have a surgery, it's okay to be scared.
Yes.
Yeah. But at the same time, if you really want to say that you have faith, then pray about it and leave the rest to God.
Now, I think there should be more emphasis on educating the patients.
Yes.
Especially from the times of the antenatal sessions. You know, I
Yes.
think enough is not being done at that point.
I completely agree with you. We do not have enough doctors. We have too many patients. You have a clinic and you have 60, 70 patients. So where is that time to really go into details on certain stuffs? You know, but I always try my best, especially if I see an abnormality, to take time to explain. I tell my patients that information is key. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because you may not come back to me, but you may go somewhere else. But if somebody is then telling you, if I've explained to you, and somebody is telling you something different, then you would know that, okay, fine, there's a problem. You may be on your way to my place, and then something happens, and then you need to quickly go to another hospital. But if you've been informed, you know, and you've understood what I said, it will be easy for you to
Translate it to
yeah, or accept or reject whatever it is you're being offered.
All right. So, according to WHO reports, they said CS is associated with short and long-term risk, which can extend to many years beyond the current delivery, and I don't know if it can affect the health of the mother or the future pregnancies, especially when it comes to we creating awareness on advocacy for emergency CS rather than the elective CS. Do people what's the difference between that elective CS and the emergency CS?
Okay, so from the definition, that's the difference. Elective is a planned procedure.
Yeah.
Emergency is something that you have to do
because you have to save life.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's one difference. The morbidity mortality may not be so different between the two. They're still the same surgery, but it depends on what the emergency is. If a woman came in because she was bleeding and she has almost completely bled out, okay, the chances that she would have a complication is higher than somebody that walked who walked into the hospital with no complication. Okay, so that's one. But yeah, you have the short-term and long-term complications. Vaginal delivery, even though it's the norm, still has its own complications. So basically, everything has its own complications. But once you say surgery, the first thing people think is they're going to die. That's the
Maybe
first
if
thing.
I would interject you, is like the first thing they think is you're gonna die because we're not doing enough. It's easy for doctors to go on strike to say, okay, we're protesting our salaries. Then we're protesting that the faces of our facilities should be changed.
Okay, so let me correct you there.
Okay.
We do not go on strike just because of our salaries. Okay,
Okay.
one of the reasons is the healthcare system.
Okay.
We are also fighting for our patients because even though we're doctors, we all know that we're all going to be patients tomorrow. And the best place to go to that is affordable will still be a teaching hospital. So if we're able to improve the teaching hospital for the patients, we're indirectly also doing that for ourselves.
Okay.
So we are also advocating for patients.
Then one more, that question has a B iPhone. Then the B iPhone is empathy. I discovered that most teaching hospitals that you talk about like this, they do not have empathy.
They do.
No,
but
they
when
don't.
you've not paid their salary for months,
Oh,
you
yeah.
cannot
So
expect. You know, you
It's a two-way thing.
Did you just hear that?
No, you can. If you've not paid someone's salary for 3 months,
An angry man is an angry man.
exactly. They have school fees. Their landlord is disturbing them. They're going around begging
have the
for
same
money.
issues
you
like
know.
all others.
So when a patient comes in and you're trying to be as calm as possible, and the patient is being rude, arrogant, you know, trying to say their
Sometimes
own.
fear.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, I agree, and that's why we actually do show empathy. Maybe not the way patients want.
Okay.
Maybe not the way patients want. You know, you can't really expect if I have so many patients, then I'll come sit beside you and cry with you and do all of that.
But it's okay to cry with your
Let's try and stay on the course of cesarean section.
Okay.
So the common misconception of cesarean section is that the chances of the mother surviving is 50-50, and that puts the mother at the greater risk. So can you kindly, you know, help clear that thought of those who have the fears of cesarean section?
Okay, so first, it's not 50-50. Chances of a woman dying is not 50-50. Maybe a decade ago, yes, but now it's more like 80-20.
Okay.
There's
That's a drastic
improvements
reduction.
yes, there's improvements in blood transfusion services.
Okay.
You have antibiotics that reduces infection. You have patients are more. I won't say all patients are more inclined or would agree, but you know, like we said earlier, an elective is, we have less complications with an elective surgery than an emergency. So if people already opt for an elective procedure, you know, the risk and complications are less, you know. So, and then there's anesthesia, you know. So in the olden days, you would see that they would hold your hand, they would hold the hands of the women and hold their legs, and you know, there's so much pain. Yes, but now it's like a painless procedure. You know.
Okay.
So there's really nothing to fear. As long as you can wake up every day and go to work and not be scared of everything that could happen. Exactly. Then you should also be able to wake up, go for your surgery, and have that faith that you would come out with no issues.
Come to the issue of anesthesia. It was a big problem in times past. It's still a problem even now.
Not
So-
like before.
Yes, I know. That's why I said in times past it was really bad. Because that's one of the reasons why, one of the major reasons why people do not want to go under the knife.
Yeah, because they don't want to sleep. They feel that if they sleep, they won't
Sleep the
wake
sleep
up.
of death.
Yes.
Exactly.
My people say we cannot think because we will die, we will not sleep, we will shall sleep, we will wake up the next
No,
day.
but when it comes to surgery.
But I think that one of the myths that I knew was from secondary school. I had this friend and she has 2 beautiful daughters through CS. Her own ideology was, oh, she doesn't want to have a widened vagina. Does this work? Do you find patients that come with that kind of thoughts?
So yeah, we have patients. So the misconceptions are both ways. You have people that don't want to have CS because they are scared.
Of their tummy now.
No. They don't want to have CS because they're scared of complications. But you have people that would opt for CS.
Yes.
Why? Because they do not want, like I said, their vagina to get wider, or they do not want a prolapse.
Okay.
Okay, that is when, you know, the organs begin to push or come out of the vagina. So some people would electively opt
I think
for
that's
yes,
CS.
or electively opt for a CS. But that's not true. It depends. You know, a CS does not necessarily protect one from a prolapse. The risk is higher with a vaginal delivery, but not with a CS.
Could that be because of the
Pushing. Yes.
Okay.
All right, many thanks for that submission. We'll go on a quick break and return after a word from our sponsors. Do not touch. Please stay with us. All right, in case you just joined us, our focus is on Caesarean section and debunking the misconception associated with it. Our guest, Dr. Shakirat, has been enlightening us to for more awareness regarding C-section. And don't forget that you can be part of this conversation by calling the studio line 080-988-77400. It's showing on your screen right now. And also you can make comments on our social media platforms at RealTalkWithKike on Twitter page, and of course RealTalkWithKike on Instagram page. We are also streaming live on YouTube and of course on our Facebook page. All right, listening to you thus far, we have been looking at the angles of the mother, and now let's look at the child. What are the benefits and or will I say the demerit of CS for the baby child?
Okay, so the merits, I would not say there are so many.
Okay.
I'm even trying to figure out what are the demerits for a cesarean section so that my viewers that are being planned for cesarean section would not but it's not so much, okay, and it's I can't even think of any right now. Studies have said that those that were born by cesarean section have an increased risk of childhood asthma, but even without that, most people have asthma. But there's nothing so life-threatening or nothing so chronic that one should be scared of that, if my baby is born by cesarean section, then I need to be worried about. So when it comes to, for the baby, I would not say that there is particularly an advantage of vaginal delivery over a cesarean section.
Okay.
For the baby.
Okay. For my own side, I'd like to know what the impact of men are in this topic, because looking at maybe antenatal these few days, maybe about 5, 6, 7 years ago, there's been more advocacy that the men should attend antenatal with their wives. Now, do you also take these men through what is going to happen during the CS, what to expect, like you want to take the mother? Because sometimes I believe that maybe men would be able to explain better to their wives, like, okay, if we have this cesarean session, it's going to go this way and that way. What's the relationship with men in this topic?
It goes both ways. So we can expect that the men would explain better. It could also be that the men would, do the opposite of really what exactly. Yes. So, but yes, we do take them, okay, because you cannot take a woman into theater without explaining to her husband.
The consent.
Not even the consent, but explaining to her partner. Now, if, God forbid, something happens and the woman dies, who's going to come for you?
The man.
Exactly. So you need to take him along, yes, through whatever it is you want to do. You explain to him why you feel that cesarean section is better, and then you explain the risks and complications that can occur. So we do that, or I think it should be done.
So do you find more men accepting and embracing it?
Well, yeah, more than women. The reason why women are not embracing it is because every woman wants to say, I gave birth. I pushed for days.
They want to tell
their children that you went from my breast. Oh, it's me that pushed you out.
So, but yes, because when you explain to a man that your wife may die or your child may die, they accept it more than women. You hardly really hear men say, God forbid. But it's the first thing a woman would say. When you tell her something that she doesn't want to hear, it's God forbid, it's not possible. I will go and fast, I will go and pray. So men are more, they're more receptive. Yes, they're more receptive to, you telling them about the cesarean section.
But Shakira, some women some believe that women above 40 years of age, to be precise, is that they are prone to high risk in childbirth because of our age, and it's reported that the reproductive system might not be the same again. So, it would be good for you to, help us throw more light on this for those who still want to give birth after the age of 40. That what are the chances, what are the merits and merits of it, so that at least they are more aware of what is on ground.
Okay, so first things first, one of the problems we have is women delaying getting married and then delaying getting pregnant, either because of work or they are looking for a perfect man, okay? So when anybody that gets to 40 and above, you have high risk of hypertension, diabetes, any of the medical disorder, it increases in pregnancy. And once you have one or two, you already turn like a high risk pregnancy. So we all know that a high risk pregnancy has more morbidity and mortality than a woman that has no risk. So it has nothing really to do with the reproductive system, whether it's getting old or it can't, But most times, women above the age of 40, especially so women above the age of 35, we call them elderly primary gravidas. So okay, so the first timers above the age of 35,
Elderly.
primary gravidas. Primary means first, gravid is pregnancy. Okay. Now, when one is 40 and above, okay, especially if that's at first, it's like a precious baby. So most people would opt for a cesarean section than a vaginal delivery. The woman would even say, I want a cesarean section, because anything can happen during the process of labor. And she knows, well, if it wasn't for infertility, well, 40, she's like, okay, I'm almost close to menopause. If I lose this one, will I be able to get another one? With increasing age, there's increased risk of congenital malformations, neural tube defects, Down syndrome, so we try to prevent women getting pregnant
at that age.
Yes.
Okay. On the lighter side, I would have said, like you said, women looking for their Mr. Right. And what if you have a case where the men are not available? They're just not there. We're talking about...
How is that related to this?
No, it is related, because I'm bringing it back home. If they're not available for those women, you can't put the blame on the women per se. So if they get married at that age, for instance, on the other side, don't you think poverty has a lot to do with people not wanting to go through the CS section?
So yes, CS, poverty is one of the reasons why women do not even women, why some couples may not opt for a cesarean section. I've had patients say, doctor, I don't have money. Even if I sell everything, I cannot pay for this surgery. So let me just have my vaginal delivery. If anything happens, that is it. That's it. So yeah, poverty is, it's one of the reasons why women do not opt, or couples do not opt for cesarean section. Yes. Even in teaching hospitals, it's more than 100,000.
It's expensive.
It's expensive, yes, to them. For others, 100,000 is nothing. But for the average Nigerian,
for teaching hospital. For teaching hospital.
Well, you can't expect it to be less than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I think a good number of couples run away from.
That's one of the reasons. Okay?
Yes.
It's not the main reason.
No.
The major reason is just illiteracy.
Yeah.
Okay? People are not aware, people are not educated, and some people are just stubborn.
Okay.
No matter how much you try to explain to them, it is what they want to do that they will do. Yeah.
So what are we going to do about education?
So advocacy, that's the reason why we are here today, to create more awareness.
Have you tried to take your advocacy into the religious homes? Maybe if this pastor they believe in so much speaks to them about this, it could reduce or they could give it. There's more faith in pastors than in doctors, like we are seeing it now.
Yes, I completely agree with you. The religious leaders would assist.
Apologies, I might have to interrupt that line of thought. We'll go on a quick break and return after a word from our sponsors. Please stay with us. All right, many thanks for staying with us. You were trying to answer Dami's question earlier before we went on break.
Yes, so the religious leaders would, they would play an important role in helping us to talk to these women, like you rightly said, the women will rather listen to their pastor than listen to their doctors, okay? So if we have these religious leaders on our sides, okay, and we say we want to have a cesarean section for a particular reason, yours is to pray with the woman, pray for the woman, fast for her, explain to her, and tell her that having a CS doesn't mean that you do not have faith in God, because that's another thing some women that it looks like God is testing me, he's testing my patience, yes, and if I go and have a cesarean section, especially if it's emergency, then it means that,
the faith is
yes, so if they're able to, and then during their preaching, they can also talk about it, because that way you reach more women and more people than, well, I think this show should reach millions, but I think they will listen more to their pastors.
They won't even listen to us. It's pastor. That's where I asked you.
Yeah, so yes, it will. And they shouldn't do the opposite of that.
Not
You know.
just pastors and the Muslim.
Than the
clerics.
imams, yes, of course.
I think this might be our last question so that we can dive into the trending stories that we have. So there's a misconception about women who have had maybe 3 or 4 CS, they've gone through CS sections. So we being in front of a doctor right now, how many CS sections will you advise any woman to go through, especially when they are above 40?
Okay, so let's remove the above 40. Okay, and let's just answer the question. Now, one cesarean section has risk and complications. The more the CS, the more the complications. Okay, if a woman wants to go to 6, 7, 8, yes, she can. But she should know that with each delivery or with each surgery, yes. So we usually say 4. 4. After 4, you know, because we need to protect ourselves.
Oh, yes.
I would not, if I see a woman 5 previous CS, I would not operate her. I would refer her somewhere else, or I will not be available. Because I know that I
Anything
sweat
can
and anything can happen, yes. You know, and when something does happen, especially the poor ones, would find a way of suing me for the tiny money that I have.
Many thanks for that.
Thank you
Just
so
educated
much.
me right there. All right.
Thank you so
Thank you for
much.
coming on the show.
You're
We're so glad
welcome.
to have you
Thank
on
you
the
very
show
much.
today, at least to enlighten quite a number of our audience, and of course for us, we are on this table who are still hoping to have another baby after 40. But before we let you go, let's discuss some of the trending stories that affect us all. One of the trending stories that caught our attention is that of a child molestation saga. The comedian Princess clears the air in an emotional online video yesterday. Was it yesterday or day before yesterday? So weeks ago, thereabout, that when the news broke that Princess' foster child had been molested by Baba Ijesha. And the latest attempt was caught on CCTV. The police has arrested him and began investigation. Meanwhile, actress Iyabo Ojo faults Yomi Fabiyi for taking sides with the accused Baba Ijesha. You know, there are many different sides to this story. And before I give my submissions on it, I think let me start with Antefo. What's your submission on this?
Kike, this is the moral decadence we have been talking about in our country, you know. And for me, the way I feel is, it's utter disgust. Things like this, we know they do happen, you know, but I think we should begin to speak about those things and begin to address these issues, because we're talking about the life of a minor.
Exactly.
That child has been damaged, whether you like it or not, for life. No matter what rehabilitation you take her through, it's indelible in her memory. So for me, I think we should begin to bring this, people like Baba Ijesha, bring them to book. And forget that it's a man's world. When people tell me it's a man's world, especially in our dear country, I tell them no. Man did not create the world. You know, it is God's world. So we must do things orderly, you know. So for Baba Ijesha, I think he should be brought to book through any means so that it will serve as a deterrent to others coming after him. We have so many pedophiles everywhere. They're everywhere. You're a doctor, you know better.
All right, Dami, before I let you go, I think it's important for us to listen to these clips. Okay. Please, let's say it.
Baba Ijesha had challenges and he came to me for help. So I tried my best. I registered him in a lesson. He sat for GC, and then I tried to get him into Unilag. In fact, he was enrolled. So he warned her not to tell anybody. I think he came back the next day to be sure if she told anybody. Said that he bought fruits and she should follow him to carry the fruits in the car for everybody. When she got down, he used his key again and to defile her again. After that day that he came, I called CCTV company to come. They came. They set camera. When they came here, I told them it's a matter of life and death. They set camera. They set the camera. We asked everybody in the house to go out and stay in the neighbor's house. That she was afraid. We said she should calm down because she did not see him again. Since that 7 years, she didn't see him until she saw him in a movie that we did together with one mama like that.
All right, guys, I'm very sure we've all seen these clips,
yeah.
and there are loads of other videos that we've all seen online since 24 hours or 48 hours.
48 hours.
In fact, before we came on set, there was another video that was trending of Iyabo Ojo, who is at Manti right now. I didn't have the time to listen to her, to the video. But you know, Dam Lola, I know you have...
I saw a bit of the video. I saw a bit of it in the video, but my problem or my question, when you were saying that it's good that we do awareness, doctor, you are here. You do awareness. You are reporting wicked person to wicked person. It starts from that. The people in the places of authority, are they clean? The men are not coming out because they are the ones. Women abuse children too. Male children have been abused.
Yes.
But the men are not even coming out. Who are these men that you want to report Baba Jesha to? Who are these people moving that they should release him because there was no assault? Because he was licking her body? Because he did not penetrate? Hello? They say you thief goat. You say you did not go to the market. What are you looking for there? Do you understand my point? If some people think that, yes, it's okay for us to think that somebody should be brought to book, somebody should be questioned for it, yes, but who wants to? The insecurity we're even facing, we are not questioning ourselves. You want to question for it. It's not today. I told you of a particular child that I invited to my house. She should be about 13 now. Her father had been molesting her since age 9 and will beat her to a pulp that she bedwets. That's what the general public knew.
So, Damilola, listening to you, you know, it's good for me to also use these stories to illustrate what we have on ground. But before I go into that, I think it's important for us to try and draw lessons from all of this. It is upon every one of us to make sure that we protect our minors.
Yes.
Because all the people, all the pedophiles that we are all pointing fingers at are people who are related to us. Are people who are working closely with us. You know, let's keep it real here. You know, with everything that is happening, I also have a girlfriend in the past that we both attended the same school, and she couldn't understand how myself and my father have a very close relationship, a very loving relationship. Seeing me peck my father to eyes, like, really?
And in her mind, she might be like, are you sure nothing is happening?
Affecting her mentally.
Yes.
Up until I think 2 or 3 years ago, and she finally opened up to us to say that her father, her biological father, not her stepfather, now her biological father, you know, defiled her when she was at the age of 8. Being at the age of 8, when the whole information was brought out to the family members, her own mother was of the opinion that she attracted her father because of the way the nanny dresses her up and the likes and all of that. This is a child that is already mentally derailed, however you look at it, till date. Now, fast forward, she is married. She's married, and sex is not something that she pleasures because she has been defiled at the young age. Now, they did not let her go through any form of therapy, no reorientation, nothing, because our society, the cultural, you know, our culture keeps pointing fingers at the victim. We keep saying that the victims are the cause of it. We keep saying, where was the mother? We keep saying, oh, forgive. We keep bringing religion into the whole issue. So today, what are the lessons are we picking from everything that is happening around us? Now we are in the era of social media, where any small thing it goes on social media. Social media now is like a court of law, where people just come here and give their opinion regardless of whatever, whether they've seen it or not.
Social media has the story and hammer. Then you bring
when you listen to Princess story. Again, I'm sorry to say this. I spoke to Anegbo, someone that I respect so much in the industry, and he was of the opinion that, you know what, don't you even have you looked at it from the angle that maybe Princess is even trying to revamp her career, maybe something, you know? Have you also listened to the fact that, well, the guy did not penetrate the child, you only molested her here and there? Emma Bino, if you try that with my child, first of all, my ex-husband will come after you, like, in fact, you know, not to now talk of what I would do to you. You know, it's so sad how our society today contributes to a lot of challenges. We keep pointing fingers at the government. We keep pointing fingers at the lawmakers. We are the lawmakers. We are the government. It starts with us. It starts from our own. It starts from our conscience. You know? Because if you have conscience, there are certain things that you will not come out and say, and you will want to do everything and anything to protect any child. Let me allow you speak, Elijah.
Okay, so I'm just hearing about the story for the first time.
Ah, you don't live
Because
in
you've been
Nigeria.
busy. No, she's been reading.
She doesn't live in
So
We
I've
have
been
few
reading-
doctors.
Yes,
She
yes.
have
So
few
I
doctors.
would,
Oh my God, I'll stay
so I
down.
would read up about it, but I agree that everything starts with us. Okay,
Yes.
irrespective of the story. Okay, rape a child, an adult, anything. It starts with you and your conscience.
Rape occurs in marriages.
And yes,
It does.
lying, stealing, it's you as a person. And if I keep saying that if everybody, okay, decides to do to others what they want people to do to themselves,
The golden
then
rule.
we would be in a beautiful world. All this hatred, all these things, because if you don't want somebody to defile your daughter, you would not go and defile someone else's daughter, But if you don't have a conscience, you do not care, you are not scared of God,
You're
then
not even scared of yourself.
then and unfortunately, like you said, if you punish A, okay, when 9 other people do it, they'll get away. So it's sad, it's a shame. I'll say prayer, and someone says, what is prayer going to do? But prayer will make a big difference because you cannot change. There's so many things in this world that you cannot
Can I
change.
speak about prayer when you say prayer? Nigeria has recorded the most religious centers.
All right, we have to move on to another story. So there's a
We are
trending
going-
story that caught our attention regarding Senator Remi Tinubu's seemingly indifference to insecurity in the country. Rather, it seems she is politicizing the situation and was caught in a video asking if Senator Smart Adeyemi was a member of the PDP while the latter was making a presentation in the in the Senate chamber. So Nigerians are asking why the senator is still
Politicizing security.
the security that is ongoing in our country. It's like when I hear some opinions from certain people, I think I should keep my submissions to myself. What's your take on this?
I think it just sparks of insensitivity on her part, quite frankly. Number one, she's a woman. Number two, she's a mother. And we're talking about the daily killings in our country. I mean, the streets are flowing with blood in our country. How did we get to this point? And you find a woman getting up to, even if the man was dramatizing, I don't know him from anywhere, but he was speaking the minds of Nigerians as to what was going on. He was talking about the food insecurity in the country, talking about the daily killings, how that we can no longer close our eyes, and sleep with our 2 eyes closed and all of that. This is what we know in the country. This is what is going on. So if a man gets up to say that and is actually crying, even if he's playing drama, but at least he speaks the minds of those on the streets. So why would she, a mother and a woman, get up to say he's a sheep, a wolf in sheep clothing? Do you understand? Are you APC? What has it got to do with party? We're talking about our country. We're talking about Nigerians. When are we going to place a premium on
All right,
life?
it's important for us to quickly take Damilola's submission on this. Damilola, what's your opinion?
The matter feels like we're talking of Lucas Base, you're talking of Teddy and Wiru. I did correlate. It did not join each other. You said them a mother. Mothers are different from mothers. Some
course I
people are
know.
there
I
because
know
of a
that.
bite.
Yeah.
If we can have Senator Oluremi Tinubu move motion to abolish bleaching cream. You can expect anything.
That was most disappointing.
All right, so there's...
So, Kike, what's yours?
What's your... She wanted to pass. She wanted to pass. Let's just pass.
Let's pass on this, please. And I'm sure you all understand why I would not like to give my submission on this. But with everything that Dr. Shakirat have shared with us today regarding Caesarean and how you've created awareness on it for those listeners right now, what is your final submission? What is your take home with all of this, Damilola?
Well, I think that more women should open up and not kill themselves. Okay. In the sense that the doctor who is enlightening you has vast knowledge. If you do not trust the doctor, you won't be at their hospital. You won't be at their center. So if they're telling you, save your life, see, one thing I like to say is, all die not die. Everybody will die one day. So if you choose to kill yourself by yourself, don't hang it on somebody's neck. Let the doctor, let it be stated clearly that you have been advised on what to do, maybe elective or emergency. Of course, you must have been advised at the elective stage, but you have used faith to push yourself into emergency. At the emergency, God is answering some people in Afghanistan. Russia is there. Ethiopia is there. Soweto is there. So please, if they advise you, stick by it. God knows all in all. It's not about the pastor or the doctor, but save your life and do well for your child. Please.
All right.
Doctor, I'd like to say thank you very much for coming on our program, for educating us. And I also want to implore you to also, when you get to your meetings, you know, speak to some of your colleagues. I'm not saying all of them because I don't have the stats. Some of them really have no business being doctors. You know what I'm talking about, you know. So you guys talk open-heartedly, you know, so that at least we can reduce the maternal rate of deaths in our country.
All
Thank
right,
you.
this is why I say Dr. Shakirat Smith Okono, did I pronounce Okono, talked extensively about the cesarean section and that women should not be stigmatized for giving birth through C-section. All we have is a healthy baby, a healthy mother, and in turn, a healthy society. So my co-hosts have been awesome on the topic at hand, and of course, our guests today have actually enlightened every one of us. My name remains Kike Atanda-owo. Until we come your way next week, please keep being real. Bye.
Keep being real. Bye-bye.